Hey, well, welcome to another Insight Line. My name is Casey, and what a joy it is to be with you today on the AHRK path. I just wanted you to know that this is truly one of my favorite topics to bring together an understanding that we can awaken potential and transform masterfully. What a concept. I've borrowed these terms from my health coaching company that has captured the way that life transforms in ways that has changed my life and continues to change many around me. And what I love about it is I can bring it to you today along the AHRK path. The insight line is the invitation for you to recognize that, you know what, life is better when I make better choices. And as I make those better choices, my life moves up and I experience life above the line. And so Insight Line today is an invitation for you to recognize that you're either going to learn life lessons the hard way or you can transform masterfully. So I ask you the question as we get going, has life been hard? Is it hard to be you? Are there days that you wake up and you go, oh my gosh, I have to do this again? Well, as you recognize those things, what's going on is there's an absence of passion in your life. And the reason why there's often an absence of passion is because we haven't awakened the potential. Your life is full of potential. I mean, just literally, it is stocked up full of potential. But unfortunately, that potential doesn't become realized. And when it's not realized, it doesn't become activated. If it's not activated, it's not going to move you into passion. And when you don't have passion, life is hard. I mean, it can be hard to be rich. It can be hard to be poor. It can be hard to be married. It can be hard to be single. It can be hard to be you. But the question is, do you want it to be hard? Or do you want to find the way that it just feels like it flows? Like the world is behind you and moving you down a path, that there's not resistance at every corner, every change, every element. And that resistance is taking place because often we resist change. And we look at change as going, it's too hard. Back to the hard word. Change is uncomfortable. Change is unknown. And when we think about the word transform, it's just a really fancy word to say change. And so today we're looking at the fact that we can change masterfully. We can become the best version of ourselves, and we can do so not the hard way, and it's not the opposite of an easy way, but we can do so by choice. And along the AHRK path, what we're doing is we're navigating change by choice. And we're recognizing that when I choose to embrace rather than resist change, I can move in the flow. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in the wind or the waves, but when you go against the wind or you go against the waves, you feel the pushback, you feel the resistance. But when you turn around and go with the wind or go with the waves, it can be a really amazing ride. And so I want to invite you into the ride of life. And the ride of life, it happens on the AHRK path. And here with me today is the co-founder of AHRK and the individual that has really come alongside me and said, Casey, we have to give the AHRK path away. We have to call it up because people's lives are at stake. Because when life is hard and then hard and then hard, oh man, we want to give up. And sometimes we don't have the choice to give up. So what we do is we give in. We give in to the hard and we go, I just need a break. So we turn to some form of medication. We turn to some form of management. We turn to some form of numbing it because we just can't handle it any longer. Well, I want to invite Bernard to come join me and dig me out of this place to say we don't have to have a hard life. In fact, we can have a great life. And we quantify that or call that a better life on the lifestyle path of AHRK. So Bernard, welcome.
Thank you.
Today we're awakening potential. We're transforming masterfully. Are you ready to go?
I am ready. I am ready. What am I ready for? Transformation. I love the topic of transformation. I love the this is the insight line, guys. If you wanted an insight into transformation, today's the day. Today's the conversation.
Like that. Today is the day.
Today is the day.
And really that is the invitation. And I'm going to take us to the end and then we'll come back. Most people are convinced there's potential in them. And they're convinced they're going to do something better in the world. But it's all going to happen someday. It's never going to happen someday. There is no someday on the calendar. This is not my original, but you got to live into now. The now moment, the today, the experience right now. Transforming masterfully isn't about, oh my gosh, someday I'll be better. It's about choosing to transform this moment and then repeating it and moving it into a deeper experience. So today's the day.
Well, today's the day. I don't think we believe that. I mean, if you're out there listening, let's face it, you don't believe today's the day. I mean, if I was a gambling man, it's maybe 1 in a million where somebody out there goes, okay, I'll buy into that. Today's the day.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, do you believe today's the day?
And if today's the day for you, text that number right there on the screen and say, today's my day. And we'll want to text you back. And what we'd love to do is actually, Bernard and I would love to have a conversation with you today. We can bring you right on screen and we can have a conversation with you. Is today your day?
Well, I think most people don't believe today's the day, and that means the day is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And tomorrow never comes. That's the reality. That's the sad reality. Is unless you have it's a mindset shift where you start believing today's the day, then it's always tomorrow. You're always chasing that tomorrow, and just tomorrow never comes.
Yeah. Or you're looking back and it was all about yesterday. But either way, if we're going to awaken potential, well, let's bring it into potential here for a minute. Bernard, have you ever seen somebody with great potential?
Oh yeah, that's the story. If building teams, having worked with people, it just the potential in almost I want to say almost everything that I've ever touched has been high.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Well, no, I think people are impressive.
I think they are too. You ever fired anybody with great potential?
Oh my gosh, almost everybody, almost everybody had amazing potential. I mean, why would you start working with someone that doesn't have potential? And so this reality, you bring somebody on board, you look at the potential on them, you go, wow. And then, the inspiration behind the ARC path is what happened?
Yeah.
What happened between that wow and when they left? What happened? And, as I love that you went to the end, is what happens is they stop believing today's the day. And what that means is that they stop believing today's the day of possibility, of change, of newness, of transformation. And that means that I'm stuck. If you don't believe that today's the day, then there's a stuckness that you won't be able to get over. And that's, for me, that's what I feel people kind of decide to move on, because why if you're living in a moment of growth and potential, why would you move on?
So let me invite you, if you think Bernard's talking about somebody else, if it may be you. The question I would bring that to your awareness is tomorrow going to be better? Are you going to be a better version of yourself tomorrow than you are today? If your answer is not, yeah, I am, then you've given up transformation as well. I mean, that seems harsh, but it is. It's that reality of a lot of times we think we arrived. We think, oh, Casey, you don't know me. You don't know where I came from and how much better I am today. And even with that sentence, what I'm inviting you to recognize is you're done. You're only comparing yourself against what you once were. And now that I'm better, I can stop. But a lifestyle path of better choices doesn't stop. And if you have that perspective of, oh my gosh, I've done so much work, I just need a break. What you're breaking is you. You're breaking from the best version of you. You're in a sense saying, I'm good enough. And I'm not saying that's a bad declaration, but it is a final declaration that says, I don't want to transform masterfully. I just want to be enough. And transforming masterfully is really the plan and design of your life. There is always a next level up. There is always something you can reach for. But I want to go back and put this together. If it's hard, don't do it. But if it's the natural design of who you are, then why would you choose anything less?
Well, so I'm reading a cup, and I'm listening to you, and I'm going to read it out loud. By the grace of God, I am what I am. And it's a Bible verse. And the reality is that people that I've talked to read that, and you get the impression is, well, I am what I am. This is what God made me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what that says.
Amen.
The reality is we are engines of transformation, of celebration. We are engines of newness, of joy, of love, of peace, and that are always celebrating and growing. And we're not an engine that's stuck.
Yeah.
That we don't need what is our process for getting unstuck? What is this moment in time where we stop growing, stop loving, stop changing, stop celebrating? What is that? Is that called 30s or 40s?
I don't know.
To change the conversation.
Let's bring it to the insight line and recognize what Bernard and I are describing. Below the line, we're not looking for growth. Below the line, we're done. Below the line, we're stuck. Below the line, we are comfortable. Below the line, we are looking back. Below the line, we simply say, this is all I can do. Above the line, we're curious. Above the line, we are excited. Above the line, we're filled with joy when we face a challenge. When we're above the line, we get really curious about what is a better version of me. Above the line, and when we encounter hardship, struggle, strife, we go, what an opportunity. Man, this is going to develop me at a whole new level. So Insight Line today is asking you, where are you? As you approach this concept, do you just want to kind of find your niche and get into your groove? Or do you want to reach for more? To transform masterfully, we're going to have to awaken potential. And if you think you've burned the engines out of your potential, you've misunderstood who you are. So let me just give it to a metaphor for a second. How many apples does one apple seed grow? Think about it. And the answer is 0. No, wait a minute. I thought it was unlimited. Where are you going, Casey? The apple seed alone does nothing. It's full of potential, but it has to be planted. It has to be nurtured. It has to be cared for. It has to have all of the elements working towards it so that it can produce fruit. The seed of life is inside of you. But if you're not planting it in good soil, if you're not healing and restoring along the AHRK path, that seed is dormant. That seed is doing nothing. So this is the awakened potential. You have the seed of life in you. To transform masterfully now, we plant the seed, we let it flourish, it grows into a beautiful tree, and it produces an unlimited amount of fruit that reproduces what? An unlimited amount of seeds. That's masterfully.
Well said. Well said. And if you haven't, again, I live in a business realm, and I love that process. Again, Casey's outlining a process of life and transformation and multiplication. What is your process?
Mm-hmm.
What is your process of life? What is your process of giving, of serving, of multiplication? And it's not just serving others, it's serving you. Your joy. Where's your joy? And I'm not talking about living a life of self-gratification. I'm talking about living life, being alive, looking at the world around us and celebrating it every day. And that requires a process. What is your process? In the Christian realm, you have this concept of sanctification, and it's a process, and it's a process that's not talked about. It's not celebrated very often. It's a process.
Yeah.
In business, if a business goes bad, somebody comes in to clean up, to look at the process, what's happening in this business, and taking steps to fix the business. In families, relationships, there's process. What's your process about living life?
So what I'm hearing you call out for us, Bernard, is to embrace a process.
Yes.
Is that the
Well, it's a process of life and of transformation.
and discover the process?
Well, because they already have a process.
Okay.
We already have. I have a process. You have a process. If that process is not yielding fruit,
Mm-hmm.
can we talk about the process? Is it okay?
I think we better.
I think we need to.
Yeah.
What's your process for joy? How much peace did you spread around your domain? your
Mm.
family, your business, how much joy. What is that productivity? What is that energy? What is that newness? Ah, that's not my job. That's somebody else's job.
Yeah.
So we're going to change that.
So Bernard brought up a big word, sanctification.
Mm.
Okay.
I was wondering where which one he's going to pick.
I'm just going to pick that one. What I love about sanctification, it is the process of really becoming the best unique version of you, being totally set apart. There's only one you. And when you begin to go through this process of sanctification, the uniqueness and almost, I'm going to say, the divine elements of you start to shine. And they shine because not because of anything other than you begin to, it's kind of like polishing something, and you begin to work it, and you begin to push away the dust, push away the stuff that's not glorious. And sanctification is that element of really stepping into otherness, or another word that might fit there is called holiness. But holiness is really a set apartness or a unique distinction that says it's like nothing else. Are you willing to embrace today that nobody's like you? That I'm a unique aspect of creation? That I have unique purpose and potential? And that potential, when activated, will change the world.
So how often do I need this sanctification stuff? Is it
Yeah.
once? Is it a check the box? How often do I need to go, all right, I overcame in 2018.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Check.
So
Box check.
let me answer it through the apple tree metaphor. How many times do I have to plant an apple seed? If I plant an apple seed more than once, I killed it. I mean, I planted it and it didn't work. Something's wrong. I dug it up. I something wrong. You only plant an apple seed once, but if it's not planted, it's not activated. Now, how many times do I have to water the apple tree? If it was only once, I killed it again. Okay. So sanctification needs to happen in a moment. It needs to be activated. That's the awaken of potential. But it also happens for the rest of the process, for the rest of the lifespan. That is what I'm hearing you draw out. And I'm just bringing it back together. There's an action step that starts sanctification. You have to be sanctified. And it's a completed act. It's a gift.
I'm gonna steal it from you.
Steal it.
They say, and I've never owned a boat, the happiest 2 days of a boat owner's life
Yep.
is the first day and the last day. Having hired so many people, the happiest days for most people is the first day and the last day.
So I'm going to steal and give it right back. The two best days of life, the day you were born and the day you figured out why.
Oh, amen.
Now I can give it back.
Ooh, oh my gosh. Now I have to think. Now you just changed me right now.
Celebrations.
Oh.
All right. So do you have to have faith in order to be sanctified was a question that just came in.
Oof.
Now, we would love to answer that question on both levels. Okay, so I don't know if you were asking that from a religious point of view, faith in religion, or just faith in general. We're going to take it from, I'm going to just take the religion first. I know, you want to go. You're going to cut that off. Religion is putting your faith in a set of rules or regulations in order to figure out the process of sanctification. That's religion. It is a belief system that there are better rules and there are better guardrails on life, that if I put my faith in the guardrails, that life will work better. That is a faith in religion to keep you on the path of straight and narrow. If that's what you mean by do I have to have faith in order to be sanctified, the answer is yes. Now, do I have to have faith in religion in order to be sanctified? I'm going to say no. You want to touch that?
I do actually. I do. Just to be brave, to go out there. I think to chase sanctification is to have faith.
Pause. To chase sanctification, a process of becoming the best version of yourself, the process to recognizing that you're a unique creation, the process of being set apart from the rest of the world is an act of faith.
Yes. Most people, religion, business, doesn't matter where they live, what state of process, they've stopped believing in sanctification. They stopped chasing sanctification, and they've lost their faith. And if even, and I'm going to even pull it into that religious Christian realm, most people give up on sanctification.
Yeah.
But they pick up the mantle of religion. They go, that's easier for me to let me pick up the rules and regulations and the culture, but let me not go after sanctification, because man, that's hard.
Bernard went back to the hard word. And it's an important word when it comes to awakening potential and transforming masterfully, because if it's hard, you're doing it wrong. I don't know how else to say that. I'm not saying it's easy, but when it's a struggle, when it's strife, when there's this sense of, oh my gosh, I've got to work harder to be better, it's an illusion. You're trying to control the outcome. And along the AHRK path, we're going to teach you to open your hands and go, heal is release. I got to let go in order to become. Yeah. So as you embrace sanctification, it's this unique element of becoming what you already are. You want to give that one back to me? I'm going to say it again and you can hear it. Sanctification is really about the art of becoming what you already are, who you already are.
I want to pull that in. There's a fundamental design of who you are. And as Casey talks about that design, when we stop pursuing growth, we hinder, we stifle that design.
Yeah.
And then we either they psychology, they say, you're still at a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old level of maturity, and it's like that with our design. Imagine this full scope of potential that you have, but you paused at a 10th grade level or 10-year-old level, however you want to touch that.
I don't know whether I'd rather pause at 10 years old or 10th grade. Those
are,
either one of those
is rough.
Yeah,
is rough.
It's hard.
But then, the reality is, you have a really good reason why you paused. You really do.
Absolutely.
And that reason, you might not remember it. You might be holding on to it and it's killing you. But whatever it is, it's stifling your potential. It's stifling the fullness of who you are, that joy, that celebration, that mindset, that culture that's inside of you, that's designed to live free. And the full potential of sanctification is a perfect model for that.
The full potential, back to potential, of sanctification is available.
Yes.
And yet this is the thing we're inviting you to hold today is, I'm gonna pull the words of a religious master. The religious master said, "Be holy as I am holy." Easy for the religious master to say, "Be holy as I am holy," but now you're telling me to be holy? Holy is another word of sanctified. So be sanctified as I am sanctified. Be transformed as I am transformed. Remember the whole conversation we had about someday, tomorrow? If you're not sanctified today, you'll never be sanctified. If you're not holy today, you'll never be holy.
And I want to pull Joseph's conversation. If you're not chasing sanctification, then you've lost your faith.
Yeah.
I know that's a hard statement, and I love that connection that Joseph added, because it is the clarity on why are we not chasing sanctification, and as a way of life, as purpose. And the reality is, in business, I've seen people give up. Give up on developing, on growing, on becoming part of the community, on lifting up the community, serving the community, and it just they wither away and they lose their faith.
Yeah.
and we want to shift that. I want to change that in the business place, and I want to invite all of you to get on the arc path, because the way to get there is to begin by acknowledging, healing, restoring.
And so, as Bernard was saying, is if you're not chasing sanctification, you've lost your faith. And that's why the arc path begins with acknowledgement.
Yes.
When I acknowledge that sanctification is available for me today, I can be transformed today. When I acknowledge that there's a better version of me today and I'm going to pursue it, I'm acknowledging I'm having faith in the process. So as I acknowledge it, what do I then do? I heal. I move from that moment of acknowledgement to healing. And what do I need to heal? I need to release in my healing. I need to let go of an older version of myself. So the old is gone and there's a new that's coming. That's not a one-time act.
No, let's repeat that again
Go
and
ahead.
again. No, that's
Oh,
that's the repetition.
That is the repetition.
That is the repetition. It's well, how many
Excuse me.
times, how much newness can you go through? You're supposed to live there. I want to bring it back to this quote: by the grace of God, I am what I am. You're not static. He
Never.
didn't make you static. He didn't create a robot. He didn't create a machine. He created a unique human being that has free will. Again, it's just that creation process of who we are, that inside of us. We all know it. We all know that we can think and create and invent and celebrate. But there, at some point in our lives, there was a voice that said no.
Yeah. Just for if you're hanging out with us, you're still in here and you're thinking that we're going down the church path. We're not. I mean, we can, but let's talk about just psychology or biology. Neuroplasticity in the mind has been proven that we learn new things until the day we die. We're not shrinking or dying. We can give up. If you don't use it, you lose it. So use your brain, develop your muscles. I mean, if you're not working out, if you're not moving weights, you're moving to a reduction of your muscle. And it does get harder as you get older to build muscle. So start younger. I mean, have you never heard that before? Start saving your money when you're younger because it's easier. Start building your muscles when you're younger. It's easier. Start learning about sanctification in your 20s rather than your 60s. It's easier. You don't have so much to undo.
Yes.
All of this is just about the process of transforming masterfully. The sooner you begin, the greater the surplus. Is it best to plant a fruit tree today or to plant a fruit tree 30 years ago? Plant it 30 years ago. But if you didn't plant the tree 30 years ago, don't wait another 30. Plant it today. The Arc Path says acknowledge where you're at, come into the experience, release the guilt, the shame, the baggage of the, oh my gosh, I did this all wrong. I hear that a number of times. It's like, well, Casey, where were you in my life 10 years ago? Or you don't know how bad things have been the last 15 years. I go, well, the reality is it doesn't matter. Today's the day to awaken your potential, to transform masterfully, and let's take a step together. Let's go in a new direction. Let's try something new. Have you ever tried something new? Bernard made me ginger tea this week that was straight from raw ginger, and he cut it up, boiled the water. Man, that's good. Why haven't I ever had that before? I want some more.
Yes. Well, and this paradigm is a new reality. The reality is business in today's, we're in 2023. Guess what, guys? The world is changing at a rate it never has before. The newness is all around us. And guess what? It's not going to slow down for you.
Yeah.
It's not going to slow down for anybody. The way we conduct business, commerce, transaction, politics, science, I mean, you name it, sports, everything's changing. And so, it's creating stress and anxiety in all areas of life. But this idea is you're designed to celebrate the change. You're not designed to stress about it and have it overwhelm you. No, you're designed, again, by the grace of God, I am what I am. You are designed as an engine of celebration, of change, not the other way around. You weren't designed as a static, unchanging, unmoving human being.
Yeah. I want to go back and capture what you started with, that you were just, it was such an easy thing for me to hear. The world is changing.
Mm.
The rate of change in the world is going faster and faster. The production of all the things that are coming at us, it's overwhelming how fast things are changing. And that's easy to, oh yeah, that makes sense. And yet it's the very same we're inviting people today to go, if the world is changing that fast, you're falling behind if you're not changing with it. But here's the uniqueness of that. Humanity can change faster than the world is changing
Mm.
because the world can't change without us. So when you look out at the world, and this is going to drop on you, if you look out at the world and you go, the world is changing faster than I can keep up with, it's because other people are choosing to transform masterfully.
Mm.
Because the world does not change unless humans change the world. That is the role that we have as creators. So now when you look at the world and go, gosh, the world is changing, but I can change faster. Yes, you can.
Yes.
One decision today can completely change your life. Would you make that decision? If you don't know what that decision is, I'll invite you to start and find it on the ARC path.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it can also be a bad decision, an unhealthy decision, a below the line decision. When you feel like you are making a decision because you have no choice, but you are reacting, those decisions are dangerous. But when you get really curious and open-minded and celebrate the unlimited potential of your life, you activate that potential, you turn it into passion, and you begin to pursue the dreams, the wants, the desires that were buried in you, and then they flourish, you're having fun. And it's no longer work. It's no longer hard. When you are pursuing what you were designed to pursue, life is a gift. Work becomes worship. Worship becomes work. And it becomes this interchangeable experience of sanctification.
Love that. And, to make it practical today, choose one thing to celebrate.
Mm.
And choose one thing to celebrate that you don't normally celebrate.
Yep.
Look out your window. Look at your neighbor. Look at your yard. Look at the sky. It doesn't matter. Don't look at the TV.
They're probably looking at a
I
screen right
know.
now, but that's okay.
But look at something different to celebrate.
Don't watch trash. Watch us.
But the movement itself in celebrating something new in your life today, and then is the first step. And
Yeah.
then the second step is, what do you want to move? So as you look at something and you celebrate it, the next movement is you move something. What are you going to move? Because what Casey's talking about, the world is changing because somebody is moving something.
Yes.
What are you moving?
Yeah.
Make a choice today. Go move something. And move somebody's heart. Celebrate somebody's mind. Go give somebody a hug and move something. And so step 1, step 2. And step 3, repeat step 1 and step 2. Make it easy, guys.
We can make it really complicated. You don't have to go change the world today. Just change your world. And somebody made a comment that I'm just going to address. It's you got to change it in the now moment. Our mind can get lost in the past. Our mind can get lost in the future. That's why the physical presence of sanctification is necessary. We need to transform our bodies. We need to engage in disciplines. We need to activate the transformation in what would be called the physical realm in order to see the impact in every other realm. We can't just choose to do this part of our lives and not this part of the lives. So bring it to the present moment. You bring it to the present moment with one simple breath. As you breathe, it engages your body, it engages your mind, and it brings up your heart. And this is what the ARC path is all about. It's just a hug. It's just a smile.
Yeah.
That's not hard. And that is the process of transformation.
What a thing to celebrate. I think the step by step, we've learned to celebrate other things. The simplicity of what Casey was saying and some of the stuff that I was saying are really baby steps that we can live into every day. Sadly, we're living into other steps.
Yep.
We're taking other steps that clog the system. They clog our minds, they clog our emotions, they clog our bodies, and they're killing us. And a big part of the ARC path is acknowledging, man, that's painful.
Yeah.
I can drink this tea, but man, it's painful every day. And it's not actually, it's wonderful tea. But again, the idea is that what are you drinking? What are you eating every day? What are you moving that's hurting you? And that's the shift. When you get on the arc path, when you do the seminars, when you come and into the workshops, you bring to develop that awareness of what's hurting you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what are you doing to hurt you? And that's the shift.
So your action item today is, if you're not a part of our private community in ARC, join us. Find it on an ARC community. It's available. It's on Facebook, so you'd have to find it there. But it is available. We're having discussions there every day about how life can improve and become better. We have workshops and activities all the time, from group coaching to team building to right here on the Insight line. Let's make this a discussion. If you're interested in having a one-on-one consultation, we can make that happen. We are real people bringing real life solutions to real life problems. It's kind of fun. That's like a little catchy catchphrase.
Luckily, that's recorded.
It's recorded. We can go back because I don't know if I could say it again.
Yes.
But we are real people bringing real solutions to real life problems. Because life is not designed to be hard.
Yes.
Let's not get stuck there. Let's awaken potential, transform masterfully, and live our best life now. Thanks for joining us today on the ARC Path. My name's Casey.
And I'm Bernard.
And we are glad to spend the day with you.
Yeah.